Happy Thursday. It's 10 a.m. Welcome to Real Estate Now. I am Keith Pitch, joined with my co-host Stacy Chevalier. Stacy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing so great today. So happy to be here. I've missed everybody after this last kind of month off. So glad to be back.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Here we are. 2021 has started. It's on the way. And, hopefully the end of the year will be prosperous and maybe we'll all be out of our houses. Maybe. Just a thought. But hope everybody had a great holiday season. We're going to jump right into it because we got an action-packed first show of 2021. And as we do every week, well, except the weeks that we weren't here, we're going to talk about rates really quick. Something very fundamental changed at the middle of last week is the 10-year Treasury recovered. And for the first time since March, the start of the pandemic, the 10-year Treasury ticked up above 1%. And you can see this in turn spiked up mortgage interest rates. So everybody that saw all the headlines at the beginning of this week that mortgage rates are at an all-time low, that was last week. It's not right now. So mortgage rates have moved up here this week. Still right at or just below 3%, which is super awesome, depending on your scenario. So still a great time historically to refinance. Still a great time to take advantage of cash out, buying those houses, and just taking advantage of real estate in general. So I think this trend will probably not be too long-lived since we still have a lot of uncertainty in the market, and with COVID going back up, my prediction, Stacy, is it's going to go back down. So that's my 2 cents.
I always say, yes, down. We're going to be down. So I don't know that we want to go into all the details of why it jumped, but yeah, the market seems to be calming down.
Yeah, the market seems to be calming down. So that's a good thing. So shifting gears into today's topic, 2021, when we start the year, we think about what the year to come is going to have and to hold for us, and we plan accordingly. And we wanted to bring back a visitor of the show earlier in last year. Would you like to introduce our guest today, Stacy?
Yeah, so we're bringing back Anthony Merkel. He is a coach at Southwestern Consulting. He has, full disclosure, been my coach for at least 5 years. He's a total goofball, bulldog lover, 2 young boys, beautiful wife, and here he is. So we are here, and we're going to talk about finding your why.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you, Keith. Yeah.
Anthony, really quick. Stacy said that you have 2 young boys. How young are they?
A combined age of 22 months. That's both their ages added together. So we have we had our second little boy in November, and the other one was only a year and a half. So we have a 20-month now and a 2-month-old now. So yeah, diaper factory. I'm sure many of you out there in the same boat or have been in the same boat. Yeah, I have tendonitis in both my elbows because they're both giant fat babies, and my back hurts, and gotta get my yoga on. My chiropractor is visited quite often, but it's
stretch, my friend. You gotta stretch.
Yeah. And couldn't obviously do any of it. Holy cow, is my wife a absolute superhero? She is Wonder Woman. Olivia, good job.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So should we dive in, y'all?
We should. Absolutely. I think that's a good parlay into talking about your why today.
Yeah. And I want to start off before we dive into the concrete piece. Our last conversation, we talked about goal setting and vision and really creating a business plan for the next year. Just some of the conversations that I've had with LOs and realtors and really just sales and business professionals from all industries is how they felt last year, especially as they got into October and November and December. In the real estate and mortgage industry, this is typically when we see the torrential waters start to settle a little bit, and we can kind of catch our breath and finish the year without everything being so hectic. However, like Stacy's organization and many others, best months ever that people have been having in October, and then November beats it, and then December beats it. Best months that they've ever had in a December, and even now January, it doesn't seem to be slowing down. So it's interesting. I'm having so many people that are making more money than they've ever made. And if you were to tell them that they were making that amount of money a year and a half ago, they'd say, cool, I'll believe it when I see it. But it starts to wear on you. I work with a guy with he's a mortgage professional in St. Louis. We'll call him Pat. Okay, he's a former pro pitcher. He was a pitcher in Major League Baseball, and he doubled his year by like September, and in October he started to, in between his years, kind of get a little cynical about like stuff taking so long, and processors and rates and all the stuff bouncing back and appraisals being low. And just, I'm done. And he kind of called middle October to middle November, end of November, like off. It's like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch file. I'm going to close everything that's supposed to close outside of that. And like it built up. And, we started to work on, hey, why do you do this, man? He's like, I'm programmed to produce. I'm programmed to do well. I'm programmed to keep going. But like I've hit every goal that I had. And there's a great book. I gave it to somebody else. It's not on my shelf. There's a great book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Yes.
Yes.
I have read it.
Yes. I love that book because it kind of exposes the brain damage that we can do to ourselves by, like, goals are important, but goals give us focus. That's it. Goals don't give us value. Goals are not why we do what we do, and they do not motivate us. Look at any professional athlete that signs that monster contract. They should, by all intent, they keep producing up and up and up, but it rarely happens that way. So what we're going to talk about today is the stuff that's really going to cause you, as we go through this year, we don't know what's going to happen. It could keep going up and up and up, and we all make more money, and we're rich. Yay! I funded my whole retirement this year. But stuff could also happen that cause us to have a correction this year. And if we're not prepared for that, when that happens, it can feel like a kick in the stomach or pants, and derail. If any of us remember the 2008, stuff, or even, March, right?
Yeah.
In 2017, I mean, we have really short-term memories of what happened.
Yep. And we know what stuff makes a healthy business isn't always what causes us to earn dollars. Like, refis are great. Strike while the iron is hot. Absolutely. But if you're down below 50% of your production, of your units, of your transactions are in the refi space, the analogy I keep using is there's a lot of pretty girls at home on Friday night. There's a lot of basically realtors that are not being communicated with like they normally do with their referral partners, with their LOs, because they're so busy with these refi rates. So I just encourage everybody, what are the things that we're going to, for your business, and this will tie in, when you think about what your business is going to be like, forget the rates, 2022, 2025, 2027. This is a purchase industry. Are you acting like that now? Like, sure, we may be in a season where we uptick this little area of our business, but at the same time, what are the pillars of success in our business? If we're still not doing that, most days and most weeks, what we neglect will wither away and die. So I hope I didn't lose that analogy of a lot of pretty girls home on a Friday night, because they're
because everybody's at home on a Friday night
right now.
Everybody's
at home on a Friday night. Yeah. So Simon Sinek, I saw him do a video. If you guys don't know who Simon Sinek is, just Google him and consume his stuff. He's brilliant. He's Canadian, so he's quite polite and very insightful. But his whole thing, his first book, I think it was his first book, was Start With Why. And if you need to get sold on why you should develop or figure out or find what your core internal purposes are for what you do, pick up that book, download it on Audible, read it, consume it, watch the TED Talk. It's 20 minutes long. It would be worth every single person on this planet to consume it. It's awesome. Keith, Stacey, amen on that. You've both probably seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I've seen it numerous times. Yeah. I watched that one over and over again.
So I saw him just in a little interview spot with somebody, and he was talking about vision, and he was talking about purpose and mission statements and all these things that tie us to a greater reason why we do what we do. And he kind of beat up like, yeah, there's definitions for vision and purpose and mission, and which one's more important? Forget all that. Like, if you want to take time and develop all those by their definitions, by whatever curriculum you dig into, great, awesome, do it. However, what he said is the important piece, the principle here, is to have a just cause statement, a statement of your own cause that is just in your heart and in your head, that's about your future in a direction that you want your business and life to be in. I'll repeat that. So your vision or your purpose or your why or your mission statement, whatever it is, but it's a just cause, futuristic statement about the direction and cause of your life, your business, your company, whatever it is. So it has 3 things, and we're going to get into a cool exercise. 3 pillars to it. Resilient, it needs to be inclusive, and it needs to be service oriented. And the reason he says, and I totally agree, that it needs to be these things is because any of the other things that could be like money or toys or success or rankings or whatever, they're all temporary, and they're way more temporary. I'm not talking about like eternal life stuff. I'm talking about like, are you going to be, you're going to spend all the money. You can't take it with you. But in your head, it will not motivate you if you're not motivated here. It's a reward, period. Luckily, we get paid well for our efforts in these industries. So I'll talk about these 3 things. Number 1 is your cause statement, your vision, your why statement needs to be resilient. Meaning it can withstand your statement, your purpose, your cause, your reason, your why. It is still valid if there are changes in culture, in technology, in politics, in general, I already said culture. But if my why is no longer valid because the internet existed, then my why wasn't very good. Or if my why is no longer valid because the guy I didn't vote for, or a future female that we didn't vote for is not the one who got in the office, then.
But your why can change, right? Like over time.
Say it again.
Your why can change over time, right?
Your why can change. Yeah, it should evolve and develop, right? My why was very different before 20 months ago.
Right.
Diapers, there's no diaper tree. I'm kidding. But it's real. Your why, a 25-year-old single person's why is different than a married person's why, than a married with kids person's why, than a grandparent's why, a near retiring why, a business owner that started something from scratch is why. Somebody who's trying to live on 10% of their income so they can give away 90%, like their why is very, but that shouldn't mean that your why, when you're making your why statement or developing it, it should not be dependent on who's in office, technology, or just the state of culture or society. Like COVID shouldn't derail your why. The purpose for why you do what you do shouldn't derail it. If it is, it's probably short-sighted or material, which will wither way faster than we expect it to. So number 1 is resilient. Number 2, it needs to be inclusive. The words that you choose to use in your why statement should attract like-minded people to your business. So if your why is, I feel like everybody should have the home of their dreams. Okay, that's just a really generic, basic example. That is going to attract certain realtors. That's going to attract certain buyers, certain referral partners, certain vendors. Other people that their whys are different, cool, whatever. If my why is I want to serve underserved communities, you're going to attract people that also is in their heart. If you want to grow a giant business and crush and be at the top of the mountain, you're going to attract people that identify with that. Now, you ask yourself, what are the cornerstones and pillars of the type of people that you attract? And so your why statement, your purpose statement, your vision statement, whatever like your cause is, those words should cause the type of people that you want to surround yourself with to be like, I like that. I like that trip. Can I sign up? They should want to be a part of it. Okay. There's a saying that we have in Southwestern Consulting. We stole it from somebody, I'm sure. Is that you always get what you promote, and you're always promoting whether you're trying to or not. Meaning what you do and the way you think and the words that you choose to say or not choose to say, they are your brand. They are promoting what you do and who you are and type of business that you're running. Your motivations, your goals, your targets, your reasons for doing it. And if we're not careful about what comes out of our mouth, that can be kind of decided for us. So be intentional with that stuff. Number 3, service-oriented. It really behooves us to have our just cause to be service-oriented. Simon talks about in this little 10-minute part, in all relationships, there's a contributor and a benefactor. Somebody who gives and somebody who receives or benefits. Now, it can be both ways, but that means both are giving and both are receiving and benefiting, okay? If your primary benefactor is you, people will smell it. That's called commission breath.
Commission.
People will feel it. It's why sometimes you have a great conversation with somebody and they're so in and, yeah, I just need to check on stuff. I'll get back to you this afternoon. And they never talk to you again because they felt oversold. They felt overpushed. They didn't feel like you were about them. Everybody's favorite subject is them and their interest. Everybody's favorite word is their name. If I'm not saying that we have to, give everything and live on that's not what I'm saying. But if our primary reason to do this is just to crush and make a bunch of money, I would encourage you to dig a little bit deeper inside here and figure out, why do you want this money? There was a cool exercise that I used to do with people on my team. We draw a little tree and with, bushy top, little apples in it. And I'd say, what are the things that you want to get out of, your goals from this year? And they talk about, well, I want to make some money. I want some of this experience, some of these trips, some of these skills, different accomplishments. Okay, cool. So we'd pick a couple of them that are the most important. And I would ask them, like the one, you want to make 150 grand this year. Why? Well, it pays my bills and save money and, all these different reasons why they want to earn the dollars. Kids in school, traveling, vacations, money kind of lets us do all this stuff. Why do you want all those? And sometimes this is where they start to, I want to have a great life. Okay, why is that a great life for you? Kind of just asking why over and over and over and over. And usually people start getting down to, I had or didn't have when I was growing up, and I want to have what I had. I want to have a better life than my parents did. I want to get my kids. I want them to have a better life. I don't want them to have the type of childhood that I had or whatever it is. It starts to get into like some of real emotional stuff. Oh, now we're starting to scratch the surface. When you feel emotion, you're finding your why. If you're talking about stuff, you're talking about stuff. Your why can be achievement and beating your best and growing something great and being number one in the competition and all that stuff. It can be that, but I would ask, why do you want to be number one? Why do you want to have the biggest region on the planet? Why do you want to triple this year? And why that, and why that, and why that, and why that? When you do this, people tend to almost always talk about legacy stuff, where they came from and where they're going and what's going to be there after them, their kids, and how their business is remembered. And so my opinion is I've done this with a few hundred people in my organization over the last 15 years, being in leadership, and it always goes there. People are motivated by legacy stuff, where they came from and where they want to go, and who's going to remember that and benefit from that when they're gone. Maybe I'm wrong, but statistically, my people would say differently. So I've got a cool exercise. Are we doing good on time?
Yep.
We're good.
Cool. I've got a cool exercise. So if you guys are playing along at home, I would encourage you to bust out, your brand new 2021 goal book with your pen, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And I encourage you not to jot these down and do it later. Do it now. Do it now. Just.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it as we go.
You're going to do it as we go. Awesome.
I'm going to do it as we go.
My experience is that people that do this tend to, your hand starts to fight it. You tend to see the email and your text, but ignore that stuff. It's just your brain being uncomfortable because it's digging into areas that, it's outside of your comfort zone. Okay. So as you're going through this, fight all the reasons to slow down and stop writing everything that's popping in your head. I encourage you not to judge yourself. Let it free flow. You can always cross stuff off after. Because you wrote down a swing set doesn't mean you have to buy a swing set.
Keith, are you going to do it?
Yeah, I just posted question number 1.
Okay, so this is called 20 whats to find your why. Okay, we're gonna go through these. So most of these are pretty simple, but it's a culmination of all of these that help us find our why. So number 1, what amount of money do you want to make? How much money do you want to make? How much money do you want to make maybe this year, maybe next year? How much money do you want to make maybe by a certain time? How much money do you want to make? Maybe a low, medium, and a high goal. Okay. Number 2, what places would you like to visit? It says in the world, but we all know that that's changing. Where do you want to visit in the world? Do you want to go to the moon?
What places do you want to visit in the world in 2023?
Sure. But I mean, don't we have private tickets being sold into space already?
Oh, yeah.
Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Where do you want to visit? And I would encourage you here to not generalize. Don't put Europe. You could make a list of 1,000 things you want to do, maybe not 1,000. but 100 things that you want to do in 1 week trip in any one country in Europe.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go? Number 3. This is a sustainability question. What type of job would you like to do each day? What are some of the characteristics about your job that you would like to be present every day? If you have a tough time with this, think 2 years in the future. May of 2023, what do you want your Wednesday to look like? Number 4, I'm gonna stop saying numbers because I'm gonna lose. These aren't numbered. The next one, what would what would your perfect day look like in terms of how you spend your time, who you're with, what you're doing? What would your perfect day look like in terms of how you spend your time, what you're with, how you're doing? I'm not talking about work. I'm talking about your whole show.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really cool exercise when you lay out what your ideal day looks like. And most of us, my experience is it's usually pretty simple. And it's totally achievable on most days if we keep it on the forefront. The next one here. What are the characteristics of your perfect spouse? If you choose not to have a spouse in life, cool. Companion, whatever you want to call it. We are herd animals. we are not lone wolves. What are the characteristics of your perfect spouse? And even if you already have one, this is great. This is great to do. It's cool to pull out your compass and re-identify the reasons that, yeah. Okay. The next one. What do you want to look like? So many people I see write on their goals, I want to be in better shape. Well, it's really hard to have SMART goals around super subjective things like that.
But, Anthony, Tony Robbins, I think, sums this up very well. He goes, people put down things like, I want more money. Here's $1. Get out of my face. Mm-hmm. And he moves on. Mm-hmm. So you can't do that.
Nope. SMART goals being specific, measurable, attainable, reviewed, right, and with a time frame. But like health is hard to do. But what do you want to look like? Do you want to be, for me, I've never been able to count my abdominal muscles. All right. But as long as I'm 190-ish and I can, play hockey and golf and not feel like my world is ending, like that's good health. As long as I'm being active and sweating 2-3 times a week, but I've defined those things. That for me is good health. And no carbs ever. Not because I don't like them. The next one? What do you want to give back to the world? What do you want to give back to the world? I had a good lesson with my Bible coach this morning, and we talked about how we don't actually possess anything. And I'm not throwing Bibles at anybody, but just the stuff that we're talking about. I thought he was initially, when I got into the lesson, that we were just talking about stuff and money. But when he brought up, what are your talents? What your talents, your time, and your treasures. So your stuff and your money is just the treasures, but you've also got talents and time. What do you want to give back? What do you want to do with them? If you've been given gifts or developed talents or whatever you want to say it is, how do you want to use them? What do you want to give back to the world? The next one. What do you want to be known for? What do you want, if you look through the lens of the people that you care about or respect or want to like you and respect you, what do you want them to see you as? And if you're going through this, hopefully this is making sense. Like none of these are groundbreaking and none of these is your why. But when you start to put them together, again, if you're just jotting down stuff, keep doing it. It is letting your brain go deep dive into like this part here. So we can find some truth. What do you want to be known for? The next one. What are the things that you believe in the most? What are the things that you believe in most? What are you passionate about? What are your fundamentals? What are your principles? The next one. What people can help you get where you want to go? We are the sum of the people we spend the most time with, whether you like it or not.
Amen.
I do this with my people every year when it's goal setting time. Who are the people in our business or maybe outside of our business that are good at the things that you want to be good at, and when are you going to reserve and calendar and schedule time with them to discuss those things? If I look up to that gal for being great at closing or just having such a great relationship with all of her referral partners, and it's an area that I want to be better in, identifying it is like 1% of the whole thing. Go spend time and calendar it and get. People are willing to give their time if you ask. One thing I challenge out in most of the workshops that I do is Who's somebody that crushes in your industry in areas that you want to be better? Go sit with them for a day.
Mm-hmm.
Just go be with them for a day. Watch all the stuff that they do in between meetings. It's not the one meeting that they have. That's the littlest value. But what do they do? And you'll see that, man, the space in between the bricks for them, they usually get a lot more out of it. They're usually more positive. They're usually a little bit more organized. They have a focus for the day. But who are the people that need to help you to get to where you want to go? How can you utilize your leadership? How can you utilize your support? Around this time of the year, I'm always telling my clients, share your goals in detail with your spouse. And most people are like, I usually tell them like kind of what my goals are. Share them with your kids. Share them with the gal that sits next to you in the office. Share them with your boss. Share them with your admin.
That's a funny story because I had a goal this year, and it wasn't until about June that I shared it with my son and my daughter. And I wish I would have done it earlier, because my biggest accountability partner this year was my 10-year-old. He's like, how you doing towards that goal? Did you close your 7 deals this month? Did you get there? And he would track it at the end of the month. Hey, we just finished the month. Did you make it this month? I'm like, wow, that was so powerful.
Reason, then he gave a crap about you.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all he cared about. He was like, Dad, you set a goal. And it was really powerful to me. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I want to put a pin in this for a second. What lesson? What's your boy's name? I forget.
Hunter.
Hunter.
Yeah.
How many 10-year-olds have seen their parents actively work towards a goal and share them with people in their lives? How many 10-year-olds have been exposed to the power of goal setting? What kind of lesson? I wasn't. And not just told to it, but shown and involved your family. Like the reciprocal effects of that, brother, the butterfly, I don't know what it is, but that's neat stuff. When I have some of my clients make their vision board and then their kids do it, and their kids have goals when they're 5 on their wall, like means in the world.
Yep. Amen.
So what people can help you get to where you want to go. For some of us, it's looking for accountability in our lives, looking for, taking that course or getting a coach, subtle plug, or, I have the Yogi Berra-ism I use for coaching is 90% accountability and focus and 25% training and new ideas and stuff. So, all right, back into the stuff. Is this where like my email is floating across the bottom of the screen? Is that what we do?
Yeah, right. I didn't throw that in there. Let me grab the banner.
All right. So the next one, we dive back into some material stuff. What are things you would like to have? What are things you would like to have? I remember my first sales job, out in the field, knocking on doors, in my car all day, all that stuff. And one of my best weeks, one of my best months, the first time that I hit President's Club, was there was a beautiful Hawaiian wood Taylor acoustic guitar that I wanted to buy. It was like, $5,000. And I think my best guitar I bought for like $250. So this was well above, but I printed off a picture of that thing. It sat on my dashboard, and that's what I worked towards. Later on in life, I did the same thing with a PRS electric guitar. That thing is amazing. I love it, but I worked towards it. What sort of things? Toys aren't evil. Money doesn't buy happiness, but I'll steal this from Daniel Tosh. It buys a jet ski.
Yeah.
You ever seen anybody have a bad time on a jet ski? What are some things that you would like to have for you, for your family, for your kids, for your spouse, whatever it is? Okay, the next one. What are the most exciting things that you'd like to try? Do we want to go skydiving?
No.
Do we want to, whatever?
No.
Safari? I don't know. Do we want to build a treehouse in our backyard and whatever? Yeah, like Keith.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did that.
Exciting things that you'd like to try. Again, jot stuff down, throw it down, make the list big.
No wrong answers here, folks.
Exactly.
No wrong
With
answers.
all of these,
Just throw it
if
down.
you're stopping and thinking, you're doing this wrong. Like, just jot stuff down. Who cares? Comparison is the thief of joy. So stop judging yourself.
Mm.
Put it all down. Dream like a child. That's one of the pillars of being a great goal setter and a visionary is dream like a child. Like they don't care. I want to be an astronaut on the moon and a cowboy and a rock star and a policeman. Cool. Those are completely unrelated, but rock and roll. What events would you like to go to? You know, Packers are going to be playing in the Super Bowl in a couple weeks. Like, I heard that today the Packers won Super Bowl II against the Raiders. Bart Starr was the MVP. Tickets for that game were $12. And
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like $5,000 to go to a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah. What events would you like to go to? Concerts, shows, sports, entertainment, arts, whatever it is. Yeah. Let's see. The next one, what type of home would you like to have? Some of us would like to have our first home. Some of us would like to have our dream home. Some of us would like to have our vacation home. Some of us would like to have a happy home. Some of us would like to have a home. What kind of home would you like to have? Okay. What people would you like to meet? One of my colleagues, she's an amazing coach. Her name is Dana Potoff. She is one of our tippy top producers. She is a queen. And it is on her vision board to meet Oprah.
Oh, nice.
And last year, we were at one of our company meetings. This was early, I think it was February, before all this stuff happened. We partnered up with Stedman Graham to be one of our speakers, which is Oprah's boo. And she like lost her stuff. She's like, wait, I'm that much closer. Ah! But she has it on her vision board. She's going to meet Oprah. She doesn't know how, she doesn't know when. It's going to happen.
That's awesome.
Would you like to meet? Okay. What amount of money do you want to have when you enter retirement? Whatever retirement looks like for you, what amount of money would you like to have at retirement? Don't overlook this question because a lot of us want to have a lot and enough. And it's easy to throw a round number there, but what amount of money would you like to have when you retire?
This next question is like my favorite, Anthony. I
Yeah.
love this. On the whole list, this is my favorite question.
Yeah, this is a good one. What would you do if you could not fail? What would you do if you couldn't fail? Seriously. Hobbies, business. The president of one of our sister companies where I learned my first sales career is Southwestern Advantage. His name's Dan Moore, and whenever he speaks on this topic, 2 follow-up questions he asked. What would you do if time was not an issue? If you had all the time in the world. And then the third question is, what would you do if you got to choose all of the laws of physics? Like, you're literally Dr. Strange. You can do whatever you want. And, actually play with it. Think like a kid. You write some stuff down, and when you look at that list, there's always something in there like, actually, I could do that. Or when that invention comes in 5 years that we weren't expecting, and now everybody's driving hovercrafts, I can fly. Or whatever it is. You get what I'm saying. What would you do if you couldn't fail? All right, in the home stretch, what things would have to happen in order to accomplish some of your huge dreams? What things would have to happen in order to accomplish your biggest dream, that big dream, your biggest goal? What are some things that would have to occur? Okay. Your brain might go into, well, I need to be better at this or this or this, or I need to be more disciplined at this and this and this. I encourage you to think more like, I need to hire that marketing coordinator. I need to hire that personal assistant. I need to get a nanny to help with those hours that I'm crunched because we're working at home and homeschooling kids and trying to get this,
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that have to, that would have to happen in order to accomplish X, Y, and Z? What do you want people to think of when they think of you? Similar to the how do you want to be known, but just let your brain answer it. And then the last one, what people do you want to spend most of your time with? Which people do you want to spend most of your time with? What are some characteristics?
This is an interesting question, because if I think of answering this question in 2020 January and then today 2021 January, boy, how times have changed. What an interesting thing.
One of the first pieces of most of the workshops that we're doing now is, a good fundamental is control the controllables. What are things you can control? Control those, you're probably going to do well. Well, what we found out in 2020 is that there was a lot of things that we took for granted that we can't control. Our kids going to school, us being able to go to the office, whether or not I can go to the restaurant or a business or outside or whatever it is, or be around my grandma.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's a lot less things that we can control, are we controlling those? So, again, y'all, if you jotted down the list, unless you carve out 30 minutes where you're just going to sit down, turn the rest of the world off, and you're just going to be a geek and dive into this, this will not happen on its own. If you should have a whole, I remember the first time I did this, I had like 3 pages in my notebook. It was just nonsense. I wasn't even staying in the lines by the end. But by the end of it, you read through it and you're like, it's like the GPS for my life. It is how you get to where you want to go. It is where you want to go. So I hope that was helpful. The next steps would be read through it, clean it up, maybe type it up, maybe share it with your boo, your spouse, your kiddos, your folks, your parents, the people that you care about the most, your leader. Yeah. And display it. Don't bury the stuff. Do not bury the stuff. Our walls in our office should be the third monitor of what's going on in here and in here. Otherwise, we're going to start chasing what's actually on our monitors, which is emails and rates and blah, 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 blah.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a powerful list, and it's in the chat here. If anybody wants to pull this up and just write them down and go for it, make it happen. I echo that sentiment 110%. So
yeah. I hope that was helpful.
That was super helpful. Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta spend more time on it. I did skip a couple. I gotta go back.
And I just threw my email in the chat box also. If you guys, if there's anybody that's watching this wants to reach out, that if there's help or direction, we're coaches. It's what we do. I'm a partner with Southwestern Consulting, and if there's a way we can help, our mission statement is to help other people hit their goals in life. Period. So if there's ways that we can help, don't hesitate to reach out.
That is awesome. I'm gonna drop your email right now.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I think people can tell, like you're here just to help, right? You're not. You and I work together, but when I ask if you could do this, you're just like, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to.
Yeah.
And it's just to help whoever's watching. So I love it. Very authentic. But everyone should work with Anthony.
Yeah. Right on. That's an endorsement. That's not a shameless plug. That's an endorsement.
Stamp of approval.
Awesome. Well, right on. Well, for all of you that tuned in today, I hope the 20 questions as well as Anthony's guidance have given you some things to think about at the very least. And I think all three of us can wholeheartedly say those become actionable items and can fundamentally change your life. So if you guys have any questions, let us know, let Anthony know, and we look forward to seeing everybody next Thursday at 10 a.m. for the next episode of Real Estate Now. So Anthony, as always, man, thank you for being here, and we'll catch you on the next go-around, and I'm sure we'll have you back.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Hey, everyone listening, be nice to somebody that you don't have to be nice to today.
Amen. Yes, I love that. Right on. Well, have a great one.